All right, we are going to go ahead and create the cube that you will need in order to do your sketch cube as your first Inventor project. So I'm in Inventor here and it says create new file. I'm going to choose that I want to create a standard IPT and go ahead and click create. And right now it pretty much looks like a blank screen. So I'm going to go ahead and say to start a 2D sketch. When I do that, it's going to bring up the page that I can do that on. I'm going to do it from the front, and I'm just going to choose the XY plane. This is the two-dimensional plane that we're used to working on in like math class. I'm going to click that plane, and when I do that, it brings up here that now this is my origin, and then this is where I will be sketching in order to make things. So I can do two ways to make a cube. I could either do lines and create a square, or I could use my rectangle here. I have a couple of options. I can do a 2-point rectangle where I'm dragging the corners, a 3-point rectangle with a center, a 3-point center, all sorts of options. I'm going to do this rectangle with a 2-point center. So I'm going to choose the center point, and then I'm going to choose one of the corners. You do that, notice a yellow dot appears with my cursor. The first thing I need to do is to choose the center. Notice when I get onto the origin here, that yellow dot lines up with this other yellow dot and turns green. And then I can see that my coordinates are at 0, 0. If I click, I'm now starting to draw my shape. Now if I want to make a 1-inch cube, I could try here really hard to get it exactly to be an inch, but notice that it's pretty tricky to do. So I could fight with that all class period, or because that's written in blue up there or highlighted in blue, it means I can type into that box. So I could put 1, and when I click tab, notice that it says 1.000 inches and puts a little lock there. That little lock is telling me that that dimension is now locked in, that that has been set to 1 inch. Notice the blue highlighting is now on the vertical dimension. I can do 1 there as well, and it locks that also in at 1 inch. Because we're making a cube, your vertical and your horizontal dimension need to be the same. So pick something out that makes it the same. In my case, I did 1 inch by 1 inch. I click to secure that, and notice that that box now lines up in blue. I can finish that sketch, and that box is now on my plane. Since I'm looking from the front, that's the only thing I'm going to see. If I chose, say, a corner, now I can see that I can extrude it into a third dimension. To extrude, all I'm going to do is go up to my Create tab up here and click the Extrude button. It says creates a feature or body by adding depth to a profile. That's the dimension we're missing right now, is the depth of the shape. We have a height and a width, or a height and a length, but I need a depth. So I'm going to click Extrude, and notice that it pulls it out towards me. My other option would be to push it back away from me. For your cube, it's not really going to matter. Or you could do symmetrical so that it's going part way in each direction. I'm choosing these things down here in the bottom. This is kind of my Extrude mini ribbon right here. I can make my extrude choices. Because I want to make a cube, I want to choose that I want it to be an inch, or whatever height and width dimension you chose. So if you made your cube 3 inches tall by 3 inches wide, then you'd want to choose 3 inches for your extrusion. Again, it's not going to matter which way you do this, as long as it ends up being an inch. When I want to secure that in, lock that in, I'm going to use this green arrow or check mark, and that's going to lock in that as my extrusion. Now you've made your cube. Remember, we could rotate that cube to look at the different sides of it, or I could use my rotation over here by clicking it, and then clicking over here, I can grab and spin that object to see all the different sides of it. For your sketch cube, that's going to be step 1, is just to get a cube on your screen. Good luck.